Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, aka your friendly neighbourhood Snyder man, and who else woke up saying hallelujah knowing that this beautiful nightmare would be unleashed on the multiverse? Zack Snyder's Justice League is finally here, and the bell has been rung that will mean there's almost no going back for DC. Every fan is giving every other fan a reach around, but there's still work to be done. Throughout this video, we're going to be breaking down the overall plot of the film and discuss what could be happening next. I've compiled lots of behind the scenes information, the original storyboards for the Justice League sequels, as well as the plans for Ben Affleck's solo Batman movie to provide you with as comprehensive of a breakdown on what could be happening if DC decide to continue in this direction, which, spoiler alert, they should. If you enjoyed the video, then please click the thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe for breakdowns like this each and every day. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into the spoiler cut. Millennia ago, Darkseid attempted to invade Earth. Throughout the galaxy, the evil entity had conquered many planets, but he came across a force he was not expecting, a world united. Together, the heroes of Earth joined forces to battle Darkseid and halt him from unleashing a cataclysmic event known as the Unity. This involved synchronizing 3 mother boxes, which when brought together would destroy the planet's surface and turn the majority of the population into parademons. However, Earth managed to stop Darkseid and he retreated to the stars. The free people of Earth took the mother boxes and divided them amongst the men, Amazonians and Atlanteans. Each race was responsible for safeguarding them, and they lay hidden over the centuries. That was until the death of Superman. Upon being killed by Doomsday, his cry sent a signal across the planet that awakened the mother boxes, and they called out. The mother boxes have 3 evil spirits within them, and these quote-unquote witches have been present in several of our myths and stories, including Hercules and Macbeth. They are power and are some of the most dangerous items in the universe. Steppenwolf, a long cast out servant of Darkseid, heard their call and he ventured to Earth, attempting to complete the Unity in order to gain favour with his master. Bruce Wayne and Diana, 2 defenders. I sound so epic talking like this, don't I? I'll talk like I'm not reading from a trailer script now. Now, Batman and Wonder Woman united the League in order to stop Steppenwolf, and along with Arthur Curry aka Aquaman, Victor Stone the Cyborg, and Barry Allen, who goes by the name The Flash, they resurrected Superman and put an end to the invasion. During the cataclysmic finale, a boom tube was opened, bridging the Earth with Apocalypse, and Darkseid waited on the other end until his new kingdom was ready. The Unity was actually completed, and Earth was almost fully transformed into a barren wasteland. However, Barry Allen travelled back in time to moments before, and he helped to send Cyborg into the mother boxes in order to separate them. Here he was greeted by an illusion brought on by the evil entities that lived within the boxes, and these tempted him with a way to return to normal and be united with his family. Cyborg rejected this, separated the boxes with the help of Superman, and on the outside the League killed Steppenwolf, with Diana beheading him as he was tossed through the boom tube. Realizing that Earth had defenders that would pose a threat to him, Darkseid halted the invasion and disappeared quicker than Amber Heard's accent. With the SAD, they started to plan another attack in order to get the anti-life equation, and slowly they would head to Earth through the stars in order to get it. This is obviously a huge addition that we'll talk about in just a bit, but another big change in the film is the scene which involves Lex Luthor and Deathstroke meeting on the former's yacht. Before Deathstroke can even say, "I'm on a boat," Lex reveals that Bruce Wayne is Batman. I was so surprised that this was cut, as during production of even Justice League, Ben Affleck's Batman script was being worked on, so maybe there were behind the scenes things that we don't know about. The moment was of course parodied at the end of Birds of Prey, but it of course brings a lot with it. Now, the original plan for the Batman solo film involved Deathstroke as the villain. According to Joe Manganiello, the film was very similar to the game, a psychological thriller, and not the noughties rapper The Game, though the beef they have is worse than the one he did with 50 Cent. I digress though. Now, Deathstroke was going to systematically destroy Bruce's life bit by bit, and not only would he ruin his companies, he would also dismantle his relationships and everything he'd built as the Dark Knight. So no more reach-arounds. Manganiello stated that he would be like a shark in many ways, swimming beneath the surface and slowly stalking Bruce before he made his move. Now, the vendetta against Bruce, though not confirmed, is likely the same one that Deathstroke had against the Teen Titans. In the comics, the villain believed that they were responsible for the death of his son, and due to Batman's cavalier attitude when it comes to dropping cars on people, it's possible that he may have taken his life. Now that's just me guessing, but the fact that Deathstroke says it's a personal vendetta that leads to him shutting down everything in Bruce's life, it makes me think they're pulling heavily on the comics. Lex jokes about it being an eye for an eye, referencing his missing one, and it is even possible that in the DCEU, Batman was responsible for taking his out. This was meant to be the next release with the Dark Knight in it, and from there we would travel to Justice League 2, which saw Lex forming the Legion of Doom. These storyboards that contain the outline were displayed in the Justice League exhibit, but Warner Brothers have been flagging posts containing them, so I don't want to risk putting them here. However, they should still be online if you want to give it a quick Google. Go on, yeah, I'm not your dad. In addition to this, there are a couple of changes here and there from the ending, and though Martian Manhunter makes a big appearance at the end of the film, he's sparse throughout the original plan. Now, that plan for Justice League 2 was to continue down this dark timeline in which Joss Whedon's version was canon and 2021 was just 2020 New Game Plus. Wait, isn't that what it is? Anyway, this initially started off with Lex setting up the Legion of Doom, but it expanded far beyond that. Lex met with Dr. Maru from Wonder Woman, who had prolonged her life similar to Diana by experimenting on herself with certain chemicals. He also bust Orm and Black Manta out of their prisons and freed Leonard Snart, aka Captain Cold, who he would have been introduced to in The Flash. He would also meet Shock Horror, the Riddler, who we learned told Lex Batman's true identity. Lex was very much following the arc that Bruce did in this film, and the Dark Knight was desperate to stop him. There was a lot of action scenes between the Legion and the League, but I feel like the main driving force is Lex's true quest. In the film, Bruce and Lois teamed up to track him down, and during this, Bruce started to suspect that she was keeping something from him. Now, the original plan was to have Lois and Bruce actually have a relationship during the time that Superman was dead, and she fell pregnant. This was hinted at in one of the Snyder Cut scenes in which he had a pregnancy test in her drawer. The pair got into an argument during this moment, and Lois told Bruce that he wasn't the father whilst she stormed out of the cave. Now, Batman slowly tracked down the Riddler and discovered that Lex came to him with the anti-life equation, and he managed to solve it. This was the greatest riddle of all time, and after unlocking it, Lex now had within his grasp the ability to control all life itself. But he wanted to serve. Lex stole the mother boxes and activated them, which brought forth Darkseid through a boom tube. Lex bowed before him, and Darkseid took the anti-life equation and started to enact his plan. Elsewhere in the Batcave, Superman, Lois and Bruce became aware that Darkseid was on Earth, and Supes volunteered to go and fight him, as he was the only one capable of stopping the villain. He said to Bruce, "Protect her, she's my world," and headed towards the villain. Now, it's at this point in the original plan that Darkseid revealed he didn't want to kill Superman, instead he wanted him to submit. Lex revealed that Lois was the key to breaking his spirit, and Darkseid boom tubed to the Batcave, which is where he killed her with an Omega beam. Batman looked on during all of this, horrified, unable to act before it happened, and like Superman, he watched the person he loved die before his very eyes. Superman returned, and this is a shot that we see in the Snyder Cut, with him cradling Lois's skeleton in his arms. Due to him losing his home, Earth, his wife and child, Superman was just completely broken, and with the anti-life equation, Darkseid was able to corrupt him. Across the world, Lex unleashed his plan, and the Legion of Doom slaughtered the League. Darkseid ventured across the planet, helping to kill Wonder Woman and Aquaman, and Cyborg and Flash barely managed to escape, which we'll talk about in just a bit. Now, Bruce has a battle during this with Superman, but he managed to get out of the cave with his life intact. Superman then went to Lex and burned him alive with his laser beams. We then had a 5-year time jump to the Nightmare sequence, which showed Batman and the surviving group of heroes fearful of Darkseid and Superman. Now, the following film on from this actually opened with Green Lantern crashing on Earth after this 5-year time jump. I'm unsure whether this is Sam Benjamin, who was originally meant to be GL, or if it's Kilowog, who we see in the destroyed Hall of Justice during the Nightmare timeline. Zack did confirm with The Hollywood Reporter that he wanted Ryan Reynolds to play some part amongst the Lanterns too, so there were a lot of different options. Either way, after being saved by Batman, Green Lantern became our eyes and ears on what had happened in between the time jump. Over the 5 years, Cyborg had helped to create a cosmic treadmill that would allow Flash to journey back in time. However, this could only be attempted once a year, as the Earth had to be in the same spot as the treadmill, otherwise Flash might materialize in the middle of a rock or something. But doing this would give him a brief window of 10 to 15 seconds before he was torn apart, in which he could deliver a message to Bruce to hopefully change things. Now I've sort of changed things myself here, using the Snyder Cut more as canon, as originally they never met Joker and it was Deadshot instead of Deathstroke. Zack has also gone on to add that he likes the idea of a Last Supper moment in which Joker and Batman would discuss the death of Robin and we would get flashbacks to what really happened. The bare bones are about the same, but I just thought I'd add that in as you don't know how things are going to change if they get pushed into production. Which they better, yeah, hashtag restore the Snyderverse, I want that trending now. Now they debate over what to tell the past, with them initially settling on saying stop Lex. This is because if they stop Lex, then he can't hand over the anti-life equation, and so on and so forth. However, Bruce has had a change of heart and whispers something to Barry that we don't get revealed until later on. In order to power the treadmill up, they must steal a mother box, and they journey to the Joker, who has managed to secure one. This is what we see in the epilogue of the film, and Superman lands before fighting the League. Deathstroke tries to use a kryptonite bullet on him, but this fails and the Man of Steel kills him. He also rips Mira in half as she tries to suck the moisture out of his body, and he fires his laser beams at the Green Lantern's ring, which cause it to explode and blow off his arm. The rest of the group make a mad dash to the cave, and here they power up the treadmill. Flash journeys back to the Batcave, namely the moment that Darkseid appeared in it to kill Lois. He finds Bruce frozen in terror and says, "She lied to you, you are the father," before he's torn apart. Bruce throws himself in front of Darkseid's Omega Beam and he saves Lois. Superman arrives in a rage, but instead of being broken, he's empowered. He puts Darkseid on the back foot and the villain retreats, which is when Lois reveals that she's discovered Lex's plan, something she never got to say in the original timeline. Bruce realizes that though he survived the Omega Beams, something corrupted him inside and he doesn't have long to live, and therefore decides to sacrifice himself. Bruce says to Lois he could have had a life outside the cave with her, but it wasn't meant to be. Now this sacrifice of course calls back to what Joker said to him at the end of the Snyder Cut, namely all of the bad timelines that are caused because he refuses to lay down his life. This time he's willing to, and across the world the heroes come together to stop the Legion of Doom from destroying Aquaman and Diana. As the pair are figureheads in their respective kingdoms, they're able to unite the Amazonians with the Atlanteans. Together they form an allegiance with the people of the surface, and the world itself becomes somewhat of a Justice League. Darkseid launches his invasion with the Earth coming together to stop him, and Batman sacrifices himself in order to kill the villain. In the end, the world mourns his death, and though Clark feels hurt that the child is not his, he does come to accept it. We then jump forward 20 years and see Lois meeting with Commissioner Gordon, who tells her that crime is rising in Gotham. He asks her what she's going to tell her child, and we follow her as she takes her son to the Batcave to reveal that his dad was Bruce Wayne. The son becomes the Batman, which ends the film. And I'm not kidding, that is exactly what was in the original storyboards. Now Snyder has stated that he has drawn up a new one for Justice League 2, but I think because of the way that it was set up at the end of this film, that it would sort of follow along the same lines. I think some things would have been changed, and I'm a bit unsure on the Lois and Bruce relationship, as not only did Bruce fuck up Superman, he also fucked his girl. Shabow, you know how I like to do it. Now I think elements like that would have been tweaked, and shoutouts Emma_Louise19 on Twitter for pointing out that Lois is carrying a baby basket at the end of the Snyder Cut. Bruce also says, "Congratulations by the way," making me think that Clark is the dad, but we don't know yet. We would have also likely gotten more Martian Manhunter and Ryan Choi. Now, in case you don't know, Ryan Choi is actually the Atom in the comics. In the end of the Snyder Cut, it's revealed that he's heavily involved with nanotech, which of course centers around micro machines. Not them kind of micro machines though, shout out to micro machines, yeah? Now whatever happens to Ryan, it looks like they were setting up the hero within the DCEU, and potentially he would have been involved in other projects. So lots of things to talk about, but as for this movie itself, I have to say I absolutely loved it. I've now watched it 4 times and I feel like it's such an improvement on the theatrical cut that I can't understand why this was scrapped in favour of that. a mustache why Warner Brothers did this, but I'm so glad that they realised their error and put this out. The film was amazing for me, and I absolutely loved the new material, final hour, and added character development, which just gives so much more to the movie. I found the first hour a bit slow, but that's likely because it plays on the same foundations of scenes that we've seen before. But beyond that, this is a complete improvement in every way. Other than some of the music choices I feel, but don't at me on that. Now Steppenwolf in my opinion is far more interesting. Cyborg has gone from being a boring robot to my favourite character in the film, and every single person gets a far more expanded arc that I really appreciated. The score is better, there's a lot less plot holes, the action dwarfs it, and sets up so much for the future that I want to see more. I think people who've been fighting for this movie will now feel vindicated, as it's an amazing release, and if you're a fan of Snyder, then you're gonna absolutely love it. I'm gonna go for another rewatch, and I'm sure you are too, so hey, thanks for spending some time with me. We'll better head out. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on the movie, and if you want to see this universe continue or not. Comment below and let me know, and as a thank you for interacting with the video, you'll be entered into a prize drawn the 31st of March, in which we're giving away 3 copies of a Marvel 4K box set of your choice. All you have to do to be on the chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on the film. The winners of last month's competition are on screen right now, so if that's you, then message me on Twitter at Heavy Spoilers. If you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out our review of the film as a whole, which will be linked on screen right now. This was sort of an ending explain this video, yeah, whereas that's sort of more of my opinion on things, so definitely give it a watch after this. With that out of the way, thank you for sitting through the video. I've been Paul, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.